Alright, this is the pre-lab for the calorie lab, where we're going to be combusting food and using water to determine the calories in a particular food. You will need the nutrition labels because we're going to look at the percent error. A calorie is the amount of energy needed to raise 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. Now, you may remember that 1 gram of water is equal to 1 milliliter, so we don't have to weigh the water. We can just measure the volume of the water and know that 1 milliliter equals 1 gram. Then to find the calories for a particular food sample, we'll look at the change in the water temperature times the mass of the water, which remember is the volume, and multiply that by the specific heat of water. The specific heat of water is 1 calorie per gram, which is also in the lab procedures. So the first thing we're going to do is get 50 milliliters of water. You can use tap water for this. Make sure that you read the graduated cylinder at eye level. You're going to pour it into a soda can. You don't have to have it already suspended. There'll be either a glass rod or one of these metal things, and you put it through the tab of the can. Now, it's important to make sure that you have removed the water, all the water from the previous can, otherwise you'll have actually increased your volume of water. And you want to set up the ring so that it's suspended. I have a bunch of different cans, so I can't preset them. So that you have enough space in there to have your food sample burn. So you raise that by loosening the screw and moving that. So the paper clips will probably be bent, and then you're going to get a 2 to 3 gram food sample. Now, you're going to set up your food holder. It's just a paper clip that you're going to bend with a piece of aluminum foil to catch anything that breaks off, right? So any ash that falls off. And once you have this, you're going to get the mass of the material before burning, so that when we measure it after it's burned, we know how much of the material was burned, because the whole thing isn't going to probably burn. So you're going to use your triple beam balance. If you don't remember, you can go to the hundredths first if it's too heavy, and you're looking to zero it. So once you record the mass, you're going to put that underneath the can so that it's only 2 to 3 centimeters under the can. I'm just going to put that there. And you want it directly under the can because you're going to lose heat to the air. So we want as much of it to go into under the can. Metal conducts heat, so that water in there is going to raise. Now, in order to, before we set this on fire, you also have to put the thermometer and get the temperature of the water before you start burning things. So you don't want to just drop it in there because it will break the thermometer. There's twist ties. Some of these have little holes on the top so that you can kind of suspend the zip tie. You want the thermometer suspended in the water. You don't want it right against the can because it will, the metal will direct heat right to the thermometer, and we're actually looking to measure the temperature of the water. So once you get that, you're going to look at the temperature and record the temperature of the water in degrees Celsius. So you read the thermometer. Once that's done, you can then proceed to burn your food. Now, you're going to use matches because propane actually does have calories in it. The matches have calories as well. So when you catch the food on fire, this is going to be suspended. This fell off, but I only have one hand. You don't want to hold the match there too long. So you'll allow this to burn. Make sure that you don't do it directly on the base. You're going to use a tile under that, just so it doesn't scorch the ring stand. And you want to use the thermometer to gently stir the water, otherwise the water directly over the item that you're burning is going to get hot, but the rest of it is not. So you want to stir gently as it's burning. And then when it's done burning, you can read the temperature on the thermometer, again in degrees Celsius. Okay, and that's your change in temperature that you're going to need. And being careful not to lose any of the material or burn yourself, because the paper clip will be hot. And then you measure how much of that burned. So you'll do that for 4 samples. And then you'll find the calories per sample by finding the amount of energy that the water absorbed. Q equals the mass times the specific heat of water times the change in temperature, which is the temperature final minus the temperature initial. So that will be the number of calories for that sample. Now, to find the calories per gram, which we already know, carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, lipids are 9 calories per gram, protein is 4 calories per gram, nucleic acids are 4 calories per gram. So in order to find the calories per gram, you have to take the temperature, the heat that the water absorbed, and divide that by the number of grams that were burned. So the change in mass from the beginning mass to the final mass is the change in mass. So you divide the amount of energy by the amount of mass that was actually burned. And that will be your calories per gram. And then you just read the cheat sheet to complete the lab.